Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
Welcome back to FPL Graduates and welcome back to a big game week in terms of FPL. We're very much looking forward to it, and a lot of big decisions have been made by the graduates already.
Yeah, some big decisions. A lot of people asking who are we captain, who are we bringing in. It's going to be a great deadline stream. We're looking forward to it as well. We'll get through a lot of your questions. We're going to ram through our teams first, get that out of the way, and then we'll be sure to get through a lot of questions all the way up until the deadline today.
Yeah, so we're very much looking forward to it. Josh, have you got your team ready, or should I go with mine?
You go first, mate. I'll let you have the honour.
Okay, let me just bring up my team. So for my team this week, a lot of big decisions to be made, and I now have a plan all the way up until game week 31, which is unlike me. Usually, I'm just don't plan it well at all, and I just go off vibes. But this time, here we are. It's just loaded up now. There is the team. So let's go through sort of the transfers that I made first. So I transferred out Regulon due to Conte's comments on him getting back in the team. Doesn't look like he's going to come back in anytime soon at all. So that was the first easy transfer to make out. The second guy I brought out is Dallo. Yeah, again, like another one that just he just come out of the team, and I've no idea why, because he's been one of their better fullbacks this season, but he isn't playing at the moment, and with Man United's fixtures, sort of wanted to get rid anyway. And then Bruno Fernandes has come out, and I've opted for Jacob Ramsey over Coutinho in this instance. I know we've both been talking about it. He's got better stats than Coutinho over the last sort of 6 game weeks. And what this move enables me to do is go for Harry Kane next week in that double on a free transfer for one of my strikers. So that is very, very good. So we're starting in goal, cycling GK, Ben Foster. Not expecting a clean sheet, but expecting hopefully a couple of save points from those games. Trent Alexander-Arnold. I've seen a lot of people benching Trent and Cancelo this week, and I'm looking forward to having them as a more relative low ownership and a lower expected ownership than recent weeks. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold will pick up a haul this week. West Ham tend to like to sit really deep against these teams and frustrate them. So I could easily see a 0-0, 1-0 or 2-0 to Liverpool. I don't see West Ham scoring. With Cancelo as well, like I see City being really up for it, with Liverpool like sort of chasing them down at the moment. I can see Cancelo picking up a few points in that game. I've got Rudiger captain. I believe that it's the right decision to go. I think, yes, Josh will say it's boring, but I believe that sort of the statistics tell me, and the percentage chance of Chelsea getting one clean sheet tell me that there's a better chance of Chelsea getting one clean sheet out of the two than there is any of these players getting sort of an anytime return. So I'm going to go with Rudiger. I think it should be minimum 24 points for me. Is what I'm hoping for. 2 6-pointers. That should do me nicely. Obviously transferred in Kilman as well for Dallo. Yeah, I'm hopefully looking for that one clean sheet, maybe out of 2. I don't expect him to pick one up against Palace, but I do against Watford in that Roy Hodgson team. Yeah, I've brought him in because he has a game in game week 30 as well. Similar with Ramsey, game week 30 game, so brought him in for that. I've got Stuart Armstrong as my differential, I guess you could say. It's probably his last week for me. Maybe sort of last week actually playing in my team. It's just one of them punts that, you know, it either goes well or you don't really get anything out of it, and you're like, oh well, it is what it is. I'm not too bothered about him right now. Saka and Salah, again, like I've seen a lot of people benching Saka this week. Interesting to see what his expected ownership is. I'm sort of looking forward to seeing how this Arsenal team plays. Again, they're looking quite good at the moment. Salah was an option for captaincy, but in my opinion, I think he gets less than 12 points in that game. Obviously, it could be proven very, very wrong, which I'll be happy to prove him wrong. But for me, I see that Liverpool game being a relatively low-scoring one. Raul up front, which it's just annoying because he's one of those players that, you know, if you've got him right now, you don't sell him. if you don't have him, you don't buy him right now, because he's not looking too good. His stats aren't very good right now, and his place is under threat. He's not as nailed on now as he once was. And then Ollie Watkins as well up front. I mean, before sort of last game week, I was kind of a bit annoyed that I had him, but I'm hoping that now he's got his goal, he can against Brighton, he can just show a bit more form and show a bit more. Southampton and Leeds, I think he should pick up something at least against Leeds. And then on the bench, I've got Greater, who, you know, I don't anticipate him being in my team much longer either. Bowen, it's a risk to bench him, yes, but I think his expected ownership is going to be pretty low this week anyway. Weghorst, who will be leaving next week for Harry Kane, and then Dawson as well. So that's how the team is set up and looking. 30k in the world, so it's not too bad at all. Josh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's looking good. You got a lot of doublers in there, which is important, but not too many too. I like the Rudiger captaincy. It is a bit boring, like you said, but it's probably the safe route to go. I think, like you said, it should be a 12-pointer and double into 24, and that's without bonus points for him. It's obviously the only downside is that he's got no attacking threat really. I think it's like 0.1. So that's the only downside. Obviously, in an ideal world, Reece James fit and everyone goes and captains him, but that is not the case right now, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I was very, very much close to bringing in Reece James instead of Rudiger. The reason I went Rudiger is money, probably. For next week, when I transfer out Weghorst, I have 12.4 million, and I'm anticipating that Kane's going to rise in value before I bring him in. So he's at 12.3 at the moment. So I'm sort of anticipating that Kane's going to rise, and I don't want to have to make an additional transfer, an additional -4 when I don't need to. So it's just a little bit of planning, and make sure, guys, like if you are planning for the upcoming game weeks, that you take into account potential players that could rise in price, because it could very easily be that Kane sort of grabs a goal or an assist this week, and instantly he's one of the first rises in price. So it's worth bearing that in mind.
Yeah, 100%. Right, let's get cracking on. So I know everyone wants their questions answered. We'll smash through my team and then we'll get through the questions afterwards. So here it is. If you can see it, can we see it?
It's loading. There we go.
Here we go. So yeah, we're going to crack on the net. Ramsdale, Watford away. Watford have been one of the poorest attacks since Hudson has taken charge, but their defence has improved massively. It was one of the worst defences in the league. So hoping Ramsdale can get a clean sheet there. It's been pretty poor recent weeks, like Wolves, for example, conceding there. But I'm hoping for big things. Got the double up on the Liverpool defence still, Robertson and Trent. Obviously, they do both double next week. So decided to keep Robbo in. Robbo probably outperforming Trent really of recent weeks, which is surprising. We never really tend to see that too much. But yeah, happy to have them both. Again, like Ben said, I don't really expect West Ham to really cause Liverpool too many problems, I don't think. They've been struggling of recent weeks, and I think that will continue. Liverpool need to win. They're in the title race with City still, so let's hope for that. Kilman, like Ben was mentioning, I'm hoping for probably one clean sheet, and that being against Watford. I think Watford are probably a team to target if you're going for clean sheets at the minute. Obviously, not very good going forward. Palace as well, not really scoring a lot of goals. And I think Wolves' defence, although it's not been as good recently as what it has been, I think they are still good to maybe double up on, even if you're like wildcarding and not free hitting in 30, because obviously they play in Gameweek 30. I've gone Thiago Silva for my Chelsea defender. One, purely because of price. Two, because he's only missed 4 games in the Premier League this season. 2 of them were Game Week 1 and Game Week 2. And that was due to Copa America. So, 2 games missed due to injury or fitness-related issues. I think that's perfectly fine. I think the main worry with him is if he probably won't play against Newcastle next week because they have Lille in the Champions League, I think 3 days after or something like that. Brought in Joe Willock as well. I took a -8. I don't think I mentioned that. I took a -8 this week.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it either. I've also taken a -8.
It's just like, we've both taken -8s. So yeah, Thiago Silva was one of them. Joe Willock is another. Brighton at home, Southampton away. He's on a 2-goal game streak, I guess you could say. And we know that Willock's a very streaky player. Good shot, like his shots to Fraser's. He's getting a lot more shots off. Fraser's more creative, but who's he creating chances for? Chris Wood, he's yet to score a goal yet for Newcastle. So I'm going Joe Willock. I'm hoping maybe just one return out of those 2 games. I'll be pretty happy with that. He also doubles next week. Saka's in there, like you said. Watford away. Some people are benching him. He's by far Arsenal's best attacker. I'm really excited to see what he does. He obviously, again, doubles next week as well. Mo Salah has the armband right now. I know you said you can't see him out, like scoring 12 points. I feel like all he needs to do really is get a goal to do that. If he can get 3 bonus points off that goal. So I'm going with Mo. Last time he played, he's like scoring a brace against Leeds. So let's hope he continues that form. I am sort of targeting West Ham. I think they're maybe just dipped down in form a little bit. Obviously, they've had a long season and playing quite well. So let's hope, for my sake, Liverpool can batter West Ham tonight. Harry Kane's in there. Everton at home. He doubles next week. I think that's a really good fixture. Salah and Kane are the highest chance goal scorers. I think they're at 62% chance to get a goal at any time this game week. Both even. So I think that's a massive odds, to be fair. Dennis, double. Watford attack's a bit poor, but he's got a double. Watford have always got these doubles, so there's no way I can transfer him out. Arsenal at home, Wolves away, 2 good defensive teams. But if someone scores for Watford, it's usually Emmanuel Dennis. And then my third -8 transfer this week is Armando Broja in, Aston Villa away, Newcastle at home. I'm expecting his ownership to be quite high. I think it was like 68, 70% last week. I know there was a lot of free hitters, but I think a lot of people would tend to bring him in, or Adams. And then bench is looking quite good, I think, personally. Sanchez, Cancelo, Bowen and Cornet, not bench boostable, but if I get a bit of rotation or need to call upon them, I think that is a pretty decent bench. I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to look to bench boost next week because I've got quite a few doubles and quite a few nice fixtures. I'm probably just going to use it straight away instead of waiting for Game Week 36. But that is the team. I'm on Captain Mo. I don't think I'll change, to be honest. I think his percentages to get a goal is what's really caught my eye because they're a lot higher than what they'd usually be. So that's my thoughts. What's your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, decent. Like, obviously, I think both of us have gone relatively safe with the captaincy choice overall. Like, it's between both of us. It's probably the decision we needed to make whether it was going to be a Chelsea defender or Salah that we were going to captain. So yeah, it's decent. I think it's probably still frustrating that your Watford lad has managed to stay in throughout the time, but obviously there's different fires to put out in the FPL team. The Liverpool double up is going to be massively differential in the defence, especially for this week. I think a lot of people are going to have sort of one and maybe even bench that one that they do have in defence. So it could be huge if they get like a clean sheet and an assist each. Like that could really boost you up. But yeah, it's a decent team overall.
Yeah, indeed. Right, let's move on to the questions, the bit that everyone has been waiting for. Let's be honest. So we're going to go through and answer as many questions as we can. It's got half an hour until you have to lock your teams in for the 11 a.m. deadline. So let's get cracking. I've seen quite a good one coming up. Should I bench boost with 3 people doubling? What's your thoughts on this? Just as an overall consensus. Obviously, you don't know the players, but...
I would probably say it is a yes to bench boost in that scenario. If so you got to work it out basically. Who would you bench usually in that team if you didn't bench boost? Look at the bench and just decide yourself whether it's worth it. I think if you have 3 doublers in there, that's probably worth it. And then you're probably looking like that you have like at least 7 or 8 doublers in your team as well. So I think, yeah, in that situation, I probably would.
Yeah, agreed. We're going to talk a bit about captaincy because I've seen a lot of rogue captains in the DMs trying to avoid people captaining them. Who's best to captain out of Salah, Broja and James? I think for me personally, James is just too risky to captain just because you don't know how many minutes he's going to get. He's going to be quite a big differential anyway because of that fact. So I'd probably just leave him in my team. He can sit there as my Chelsea defender. Broja... An interesting one. I was tempted by it. He's just not got very high odds to score. I sort of use my captaincy decision through odds because it tends to work. It's worked for me this season quite well. And he's about 34%. And when you look at Salah, it's 62. I know Broja has 2 games, but I don't think it'd be much higher in the second fixture either. So for me, out of that list, I'd choose Salah. Who would you choose, Ben?
I'd probably go for Salah as well. Like, generally, like, you don't want to be captaining sort of players that aren't premiums. I'd say like picking the premium players this season has proved to be like a success, as it usually does. So, and then Reece James, of course, like I said, is a bit of a risk. I think he starts one and potentially benching the other, or at least doesn't get like maybe not even a full 90. Yeah. So yeah, I'd probably go Salah as the sort of risk-free option there.
Yeah. Liam Bell is asking Ramsey or Willock. I think both of these have tremendous upside. I think you have Ramsey, I have Willock. I think Ramsey's better than Coutinho by quite a margin, I think, for this week. Willock, probably Newcastle's best attacking midfielder. What's your thoughts on Willock as a non-owner?
So what I would say is this decision is probably going to be based around whether you're free hitting or not in game week 30. Like, I think if you are going to free hit in 30, you probably want to take advantage of the double that Willock's going to have. If you sort of are trying to get through without using that free hit for game week 30, I think Ramsey's like sort of the perfect enabler. He sort of enables you to get to the Kanes and the Sons for game week 30 pretty easily, which is what I've done. So I'd say it just depends really on your strategy.
100%. I think, yeah, like you said, if you are free hitting in 30, those doubles of Newcastle players look really, really enticing for the moment. Can't believe this is an interesting one. Didn't think I'll see this question this morning. Start Livramento. Obviously, he has a double, or Trent. Obviously, I think Walker Peters has picked up a small knock, but I don't think he's necessarily ruled out. What's your thoughts on that?
That's a really tough decision. I would probably keep Trent in the team, if I'm being honest. I think he, despite one fixture, like, don't discount him because he is fantastic at what he does in terms of FPL. I say he's up there with the best. So against this West Ham team, I think a clean sheet should be locked in. Obviously, you don't know what's going to happen. But for me, Trent's got every sort of chance of getting a double-digit haul this week.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Rudiger and Silva, good. Well, Ben has Rudiger, I have Silva. So you think, yes, I think both of them are probably the most nailed to play in that Chelsea defence, bar Mendy. So if you had to pick two for nailedness only, I would probably pick both of those. Should I captain Havertz? What's your thoughts on these Chelsea midfielders? Because for me, I think all of them have minutes concerns, and I don't think you're going to get 90 out of both games for any of them, to be honest.
Well, Kai Havertz has the same amount of goal contributions as Joe Linton this season, and it's like,
what's that?
Like 1 goal and 2 assists in this season. Yes, he's looked good sort of in recent games outside the Premier League, but he's not a consistent returner in terms of points and goals and assists. So I'd say no. We've also seen that this season that Havertz sort of struggles against a low block. He tends to be better against the better teams, which is why he's seen as sort of a big game player rather than one that sort of takes advantage of when they're playing the weaker teams. So I would say no. If you are going to go for a Chelsea midfielder, the best one I'd say is probably Mason Mount for his sort of expected goals and assists chances this week. So yeah, like I probably would steer clear of like captain in Chelsea. I wouldn't be against having Mount in your team. But yeah, like Havertz, I don't think it's a viable captaincy choice this week.
No, I definitely agree with that. Should I captain Rudiger or Salah? It's Ben versus Josh. I think both of them are good captaincy options. I don't think you can go wrong if you picked either one of them. In terms of the best, it's tough because we know that Salah can haul on any given day, and he has been in the last couple of weeks. The last 2 game weeks he's played, he's got double-digit hauls. So there's that side, but then Rudiger should get 2 clean sheets away against Norwich and Burnley. They're both poor in attack. I'm going to flip a coin, mate. Just go for it. Right, we'll move on. This one's interesting. Play Saka or Kulusevski. I think both of them are really good options, actually, going forward. Who'd you start this week, though?
I would probably start Saka over Kulusevski. I think Spurs, again, will struggle a little bit against Everton at home because I think Everton will just sit back and frustrate them. I think Watford have the potential to do the same, but I believe that Arsenal are in a better vein of form and look a lot more confident as a team. And Saka looks a lot more confident as a player at the moment. Yes, Kulusevski's hit the ground running, but I think Saka's got potential to score more points this week.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of captaincy decisions. I feel like I should have like a little list to the right of me of who's the best. I'm glad I'm not seeing as many Jimenez's though. I think he's one of the biggest traps in the middle. Like you mentioned, like you wouldn't really bring him in right now. He's got, I think, 2 goals, 1 assist in his last 13 games. 0.31 expected goal involvement. It's probably one of the lowest, especially for his price as well, like over 7 million. I think you can get a lot better value elsewhere. Do I captain Thiago Silva, Salah, Rafinha, or Broja? It's on Silva at the moment. What's your thoughts? That's a good array of captains you can choose from.
It's a big choice. It's really tough because there's so many unknowns. I'd definitely say no to Broja. I'd probably... Would I be tempted by Rafinha? I would, I probably would be tempted by him. But again, there's more unknowns with that Leeds sort of are missing players going forwards. They've got a new manager. We don't know how they're going to play. So you could probably get away with just not captaining him. So I'd say between Thiago Silva and Salah, I'm going to stick with what I am sort of backing this week and say Thiago Silva for the percentage chance of getting at least 1 clean sheet. But I'm sure Josh is going to be leaning in towards that Salah camp.
Yeah, I think. Well, to be honest, I don't think it's a bad choice. Like going for Chelsea defender, I think it's a lot of people probably will this week, and I think we could potentially see Salah under 100% EO. So especially at our sort of rank, maybe.
I'm not sure. I'm sort of thinking and predicting about 120. I think.
You think?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think you could be nailed on.
Yeah.
I think if there's a lot of people that might have just left the captaincy on him. So there's that as well. Let's have a look. Rafinha captain for me, lads. What are we saying? I think he's a really good option. Obviously they face Leicester, I think, today at lunchtime, and then you've got the double as well. Leicester are one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and if Leeds score, it's going to be through Rafinha. But the thing is, what worries me with any Leeds asset right now is that they've got a new manager. Are they going to be as attacking as they are under Bielsa? Probably not. That's kind of impossible. So yeah, I think Jesse Marsch has come in. He's going to make them defensively stable, and they're going to try and pick up points if they can. I think it might harm Rafinha, but I don't think he's a bad captaincy option either. You just spoke about Leeds. Do you think Jesse Marsch is an improvement on owning Rafinha as an FPL manager?
We've only got to wait and see, really, to see the effect. From what I've seen, he's very much sort of a manager that players will run through walls for. So it does suggest good things. As long as he gets off to a good start, Rafinha will be a great option because of the new manager bounce and that sort of thing. Yeah. So yes, I think Rafinha appeals more now that Leeds got their new manager than at the end of Bielsa's reign.
Yeah, indeed. Is a Chelsea defender for a hit a must? I think, well, me and you have both taken hits for Chelsea defenders this week. I think you can probably say yes, because the likelihood of them getting 2 clean sheets, I think it's like 22% for both, which is really high in the grand scheme of things. And like you said, there for 1 clean sheet, it's even higher. So for me, I'd say yes. I think you got to attack the doubles like I have here and like Ben has. And as long as you pick a nailed one or as close to nailed one, you can sort of leave that and think that you've made the right decision. For me personally, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you have to have at least 1 Chelsea defender this week because I think they will get at least 1 clean sheet. So, yeah, that's the general consensus about which one you go for. I think you could sort of flip a coin between almost 4 of them that you could potentially get. But yeah, I think having 1 is definitely a sensible idea.
Yeah. Dion is asking buy Jimenez or Hwang for the short term. For me, I'd probably try. If you aren't free hitting, obviously there is upsides having a Wolves attacker, but I think Saints and Shea Adams or Broja will probably outscore him in the next couple of weeks, in my opinion. Southampton, the 4th best attack in the league in the last 6 game weeks, and I think Wolves is down in 16th. Like, they don't create a lot of chances, hence why we're seeing the likes of Jimenez not really score too many goals. Who would you recommend in that forward position right now?
Out of the two, I'd probably say Hwang's almost better value right now. Just because he's looking a bit more confident, a little bit more informed than Jimenez. So yeah, I'd go Hwang over Jimenez there.
Yeah. Shiv's asking Coutinho or Rafinha. Also, do I get in Rudiger from Cancelo for the double with Chelsea with James? Gonna free hit in 30 anyway. So you answer the first bit, I'll answer the second bit. Coutinho or Rafinha?
Rafinha for me, better underlines. Even I think he's got better underlines anyway. Yeah,
I'm not too sure personally, but I would also choose Rafinha. Also, do I get in Rudiger from Cancelo for the double? I think you could probably get away with it. Again, Cancelo might keep a clean sheet, but they are without Ruben Diaz for the next 4 to 6 weeks, so that's going to hamper their clean sheet potential. And also, United tend to score at the Etihad, to be honest. They've got quite a good record there. Obviously, it's a new manager, so it might change. But I think I could see United scoring at the Etihad, but probably still losing. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I think double Chelsea defence, that's again a good differential to go into the week with. I think a lot of people are going to have one, so having two would be a great shout. Mount or Rafinha captain, Ben?
Mount.
Ooh, interesting.
It's such a 50-50 call between a lot of these players this week, because I think if Mount plays both games, he's got a much higher ceiling, but obviously it's not guaranteed. So like, maybe you'd say it's safer to go Rafinha out of the two. Like, it's such a difficult decision between a lot of these captain choices. It's probably why we're getting so many questions on it, because for us, we're like, it's a struggle to pick who we think is going to be the best captain.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a debate, but I don't think you could necessarily lose a lot of rank this week in terms of picking the wrong captain, because it's going to be such widespread in terms of picks. So it won't be like a Salah 200% EO and you've gone against him. It's going to be a lot harsher, a lot less harsh, sorry, should I say. Bench 2 from Trent, Robbo and Bowen. For me, I'd bench Robbo and Bowen. Who would you bench?
Yeah, I'd probably be the same there. Robbo and Bowen.
I think it's just the ownership for Trent. So if Trent does pop off, like, you've got that covered. And if Robbo does, you probably should find a way to play him anyway, because I think that West Ham fixture is a good fixture. It's at Anfield. It's not necessarily as tough as when they go to the Olympic Park or whatever it's called these days. So yeah, worth selling Weghorst for -4. I have to bring in Brozier. What's your thoughts on Weghorst? Let us down last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. A lot of people are probably going to be benching him this week as well. So I think for the right player, I'd say it's probably worth it. I could have made that additional -4 this week and brought in Kane as well, but for me, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I think it's sort of dependent on the team as well, and who you're actually going to bring in for that.
Yeah, I think if you're going for a nailed attacker to replace him, like Brozier, Adams, someone like that, I think it's worth it, because even if they do blank in both games, you got like a net 0, really. So I think it's probably worth it in that regards. Best forward option for Weghorst. I'm a massive fan of the Saints attack. Like I said, I've said it about 3 times now. They're the 4th best attack in the league in the last 6. Adams is obviously, he's been scoring. He's got 4 goals and assists in his last 4. Brozier not as many, but they both have the same underlying stats. So for me, I'd choose Brozier just for the money. Who would you choose out of Adams and Brozier, Ben?
Yeah, I'd probably go Brozier for the fact that he's just a little bit cheaper. I think Adams could outscore him this week, but over the long term, like, he's going to enable you to bring in like a lot better players around him. So I'd go Brozier.
Yeah, definitely agree. Trent start or Kulusevski, or start both and bench Phil Foden. What would you do here?
Start both and bench Phil.
I would agree. I think it's quite a risk if Foden actually plays, and it's only 1 game. Thoughts on the Wolves defender captaincy? This is one we haven't seen just yet. I think I've seen FPL Harry. He's going for Jose Sarr captain. Bit outside the box. Wolves defense hasn't been as great recent weeks as what it has been. What's your thoughts?
I probably wouldn't risk a captaincy on them. I'd have them in the team, but I think they get one clean sheet out of the two. So I think the upside of captaining a Chelsea defender over Wolves defenders probably a bit better. So yeah, I'd have Wolves defenders in your FPL team, but I probably wouldn't captain them. The only one I'd consider is probably Jose Sarr, just for the save points as well.
Yeah, definitely. Here's one: 2 single game week players on a captaincy question: Vardy or Saka. Vardy does play Leeds, I think at home. Obviously, Leeds literally the worst defense in the league recently. I would probably, if I was choosing between the two, I'd go Vardy, but I think having a Chelsea defender captain or Salah is probably going to be a little bit better. What's your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. Like the Leeds defense is not going to be like great, even with like Jesse Marsh coming in. Like he's not going to fix the defense straight away. So I'd probably go Vardy. He looked pretty good when he came back from injury.
Yeah, definitely. Try to pick some questions that we haven't chose. Alonso or Silva until game week 30. Obviously, I think a lot of people have not necessarily overlooked Alonso, but Sarr has played the last 2 Premier League games at left back. Obviously, they play a bit of a 4-back as well. Silva, like I said, I've gone with Silva. He's only missed 4 games this season. Who would you choose?
I'd probably go safe and go Thiago Silva. Like, I think even Alonso with like Chilwell injured is still not nailed in that starting 11, which is crazy to me. So I'd probably go Silva just to be safe.
Yeah, I think I agree with that one. Few questions about Rafinha captain. We spoke about it a little bit ago now. We think it's a good idea. Is it going to be the most optimal? We can't really say because we don't know ourselves personally. So, but definitely worth trying. Leicester defence is probably near as bad as Leeds. So, yeah, should be quite a high-scoring game at lunchtime, I'm hoping for. Should I -4 for another Chelsea asset for Laporte or Digne? 8, I could go Reece for Laporte or Thiago Silva or Alonso. So I think that for Laporte, yes. For Digne, no. They double this week, so I wouldn't take out a double game week player. Who would I go for instead of Laporte? I probably wouldn't go Reece James. I would go Rudiger, though. So hopefully that clarifies it. Rudiger in for Laporte. Digne, Rafinha or Dennis. Whatever the answer is, it's definitely not going to be Dennis. So probably Rafinha. Just there's no context to it, but Rafinha. So yeah, Bowen to Rafinha and Digne to James for a -4. What's your thoughts on Jarrod Bowen? We haven't really talked about him this live stream yet. A lot of people seem to be hopping off him. Second top scorer in FPL.
I think he's a hold for me and an easy one to bench this week. Going forwards, like even with the perceived tough fixtures, I think he does like score a lot of points. Like he's got Villa coming up, Spurs away, who West Ham going to be right up for that one, and then a nice run of Everton, Brentford, and then Burnley. Like I think he can score a lot of points in those fixtures. So for me, I'm holding him until I see him come off a form because a player like that, he will score against anyone if he's in form.
Yeah, I'm even worried he might even score today against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like he's that good of a player. A lot of West Ham's attacks and now like they just all go through him. Whereas that's why we've seen Antonio's points drop off because he's more of a just linking up the play now for Bowen to come off of that.
Bowen's so clinical. He's like almost like West Ham's version of like Sonny. Like he's a good finisher and one that you probably would regret if you transferred him out and then you look at him next week and you're like, he might score here. So it's just worth considering.
Definitely. Ethan's gone for Ward-Prowse on the captaincy. What's our thoughts? I think my boss has actually gone for Ward-Prowse on the captaincy. I've tried to talk him into Adams over Ward-Prowse if he's going Saints, but he was having none of it. Obviously, the massive upside is his set pieces. What's your thoughts on Ward-Prowse?
It's not a bad call. Like Ward-Prowse captaincy is not a bad call, but I think like with his ownership as well, like you could probably get away with just owning him and trying to really attack the game weeks by going for someone who's a bit more attacking. Maybe I don't think it's a bad call, but I think there's more sure like returns in the team elsewhere.
Yeah, I can't see Ward-Prowse being the top scoring player this week, but You never know. It could happen. They might get 3 penalties in 2 games. Who knows? 3 Brozier assists, of course. Salah or Rudiger, captain. It's me versus Ben. We said flip a coin on this one. I think it's the same guy as well. He wasn't happy with the flip a coin answer that we gave him. So I'll let Ben decide this one for you.
Well, I'm going Rudiger for my captain, so that's all you need to
know. Who should I bench out of Van Dijk, Ben White, and Josh King? The answer there is going to be Josh King. He's been the player that has deceived most FPL managers this season, and Watford attack has been especially poor under Roy Hodgson as well. Shiv's asking best under 7.8 million midfielder. Also, do I double up with Chelsea? Bearing in mind they're free hitting a 30. I think we said best under 7.8 million midfielder. Who'd you go? You've had Mason Mount on your mind, haven't you?
Yeah, Mount is definitely a consideration. I think you've got like a couple of options there. You got Mount, you got Rafinha, Ramsey for those ones that are doubling. In my opinion, yeah. So any of those 3, you're looking sound. So yeah.
Fair dues. We're going to do this one. Who shall I captain? Salah, Havertz, Rudiger, Coutinho, Kane, Adams, or Brozier? Half his team is getting captain this week. Again, Rudiger or Salah. I think they're both good options from that list. So just choose between the 2. You're a Chelsea fan by the looks of things, so I'd probably say Rudiger. Yeah. Do I bench boost De Gea, Cancelo, Williams, and Weghorst? For me, no. Manchester Derby in that one, and as well as Weghorst facing Chelsea, and then a Norwich defender. Probably not the best defence in the league right now. Brozier, Salah, or Thiago Silva captain. In this case, I think Salah has got the edge on Thiago Silva. Just a little bit, because we know Rudiger will play both, but there is chance that Thiago Silva could get rotated because of the Champions League a week after. It's a big if, but I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Silva. He's not getting rotated. There's remember for this double game week, it's a Saturday game and then a Thursday game. Yeah. So it's a bit of a break.
Agreed. Foster or Ramsdale? Obviously, Foster has the double. Ramsdale has the single against Watford.
I would, if I had both, I'd probably lean towards Ramsdale. But I am starting Foster and not expecting a clean sheet. So just kind of take that as you go.
I mean, he didn't expect a clean sheet against United, and he got 10 points.
So could it happen again?
Exactly. I think Watford defensively have improved a lot. They're not the team of before, so it is potentially worth playing. But like you said, I probably would start Ramsdale if I had the both of them. Captain, Jota or Adams or Watkins? Thoughts? Tiger and Gunnar.
I'd probably not captain Jota because I don't think he's nailed in that starting 11 at the moment. Obviously coming back from injury or what have you. I would probably go Shea Adams out of him and Watkins.
Agreed. Bednarek captain. Anyone else? I think you're on your own, fella.
Yeah.
I always remember that triple captain haul of him against Man United when it was like minus 21 or something. Because he got an own goal, a red card. He had an absolute stinker. Who do I start? Elise or Richarlison? Obviously, Richarlison against Spurs. Elise's against... I can't remember now. He's playing someone with a double anyway. I've sold Elise this week. There we go. I've sold Elise this week personally. He's been great for me, but Palace's fixtures are getting a bit tough. What's your thoughts on who to start this week?
I'd probably start Richarlison out of the 2.
Going against his star boy.
Yeah, but like Elise could score a hat-trick, but...
I actually had a comment on my transfer video on TikTok saying Elise will score a hat-trick now. So I'm waiting for it. Foster or Lloris? I'd go Foster here, I think.
Yeah, why not? Cycling GK.
Lloris is also so dodgy that, yeah, I'm not a massive fan. Coutinho or Rafinha captain? I think we said earlier. Rafinha. Yeah. Definitely. We'll quick fire these. So if you get your questions in, we'll quick fire them now for the last 4 minutes until the deadline closes. Has Saka, Cancelo, Foster, and Edouard on the bench? Is it worth a bench boost?
No.
Edouard won't play. Foster, I've already answered that. Rafinha captain, we said yes. Can we see your teams? Go back in the live stream when it's over. We've showed it. We'll post them on Instagram as well. Come the deadline finishing. Who do I cap? Differential: Elliott, Salah, Cody,
No.
Oignori, or Vardy. I'd say Salah in that list.
Salah.
Maybe Vardy as well. I think he's a good option if you're going for a 1 game week player. Glenn starting Buemo as a punt for Cancelo or Torrisi. Glenn getting advice off us after slandering us on Twitter for taking hits. Look at him. No, I'd go Cancelo. I'm not a fan of Brentford right now.
Go Cancelo, yeah.
Havertz, Adams, or Coutinho to captain. I can't believe you're doing your captaincy decision so late. I would go Adams out of that list.
Adams, yeah.
Cancelo over Trent or Robbo. No chance.
No.
Good luck for the game week, lads. Thank you very much. Cheers, lads. Loads of good thoughts. Thoughts on Chalobah. I say he starts at least one of the games. I don't know if you can guarantee 2, though. It all depends on the Azpilicueta injury. What's your thoughts on him?
Plays 100 to 120 minutes in this game week.
Brozier, Salah, Rafinha, or Kilman captain. I think I'd go Salah there.
Salah.
Chelsea triple up in defence, or 2 Chelsea and 1 Wolves.
2 Chelsea, 1 Wolves.
Split those differences. Agreed. Have I gone through all these quick fire questions? I feel like I do.
We've absolutely smashed it.
I think we have. So make sure you get your teams locked in. It is going to be locked in 2 minutes' time. If we go back to my team, I'll just show you mine as someone asked for it 2 seconds ago. So yeah, here we go. Ramsdale in goal, Robertson, Kilman, Trent, Thiago Silva, Willock, Saka, Salah on the captaincy, Kane, Dennis, and Brozier, hoping for a good little week this week. A lot relies for me on Liverpool this week, massively. A lot of differential points coming in there. Then Ben, do you want to run through your team real fast?
Yeah, let me get it up quick. Foster, Trent, Rudiger captain, Cancelo, Kilman, Ramsey, Stuart Armstrong, Saka, Salah, Jimenez and Watkins on the bench is going to be Burn, Weghorst, Dawson with Guaita. Ready to go. Locked and loaded.
We love to see it. 1 minute to go to the deadline. Deck says, good luck with the game week, lads. Predicting it here first. Josh can have a mega game week. Well, I bloody hope so, Deck. Rudiger captain, someone saying Bowen or McAllister. Not even a question. It's Jared Bowen all day long. Jay saying hello. But yeah, that sort of really wraps up the deadline live stream, doesn't it, Ben?
Yeah, it does. The deadline is just about to pass any second now. So hopefully you all got your teams locked in and you're ready to go for Game Week 27. Good luck to everyone who is going to be playing this weekend. It's going to be a fun one. And that is the deadline done. The transfers are sorted. The teams are locked in. So yeah, as always, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Go follow us on all of our socials. And as usual, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.